Is it me, or is looking for a new job incredibly bleak now? Looking at the news or social media, it seems like everyone has a story about a bad interview experience. Sometimes they're invited to have a first round interview with an AI interviewer because God forbid a company employee spend any time on recruitment. Sometimes they're asked to do bizarre group tasks because seeing if someone will crawl around and moo like a cow is a great way to see if a candidate is fun. And sometimes they're asked to complete arbitrary personality tests because someone who is open to new experiences and an extrovert is key for a job stacking shelves in a supermarket. Being out of work is stressful enough without having an extra layer of nonsense to wade through. Today, I want to talk about how interviewing for jobs is becoming more and more dystopian. Artificial intelligence. It's the future, and it's going to be squeezed into every possible facet of our lives. Whether you're a writer needing help with your goblin romance novel, or an American president trying to portray yourself as Jesus, there's an AI tool out there for you. Oh, hang on, didn't he say it's him as a doctor? Maybe that's how doctors used to dress before they invented scrubs. And those demons at the top, those are not demons. Those are dead patients trying to get a refund from the hospital. Healthcare in America is expensive. Oh, he deleted it? Even the Pope seems to be on board with AI. He says it's like the Industrial Revolution. Maybe in the future we'll get an updated version of the Bible. Can't wait to read Paul's letters to Copilot. Sorry, I've gone off-piste. A recent survey has found that nearly half of job seekers in the UK have been interviewed by AI. Candidates have said they felt the experience was awkward and humiliating, with 30% of candidates walking away once they realised that they would be interviewed by an AI. Half of candidates have been invited to interview with an AI. That's a worryingly high percentage. Widespread AI use has not been mainstream for long, so it's unnerving how quickly companies are rolling it out. Some of them more successfully than others. In the same article, a candidate talked about discussing his AI interview with a company executive after he got through to the final round, which was a face-to-face interview with an actual human being. The executive admitted that he hadn't watched any of the interviews. Instead, he put the transcripts into ChatGPT to see what it made of the candidates. Based on his feedback, he made the decision on which applications to progress and which to regret. ChatGPT, as well as other generative AIs, have been known to hallucinate, and there are still massive privacy issues with generative AI, so to put potentially sensitive personal information into one, perhaps without the candidate's permission or even their knowledge, is not cool at all. It's also a very disrespectful way to treat candidates. It's a company saying, we're going to put the minimum time and effort possible into recruitment. We're happy to waste your time, but we couldn't possibly waste any of our own. Of course, lots of big companies in the States have jumped onto the AI interviewer bandwagon. The Code Signal website says that companies including Meta, Google, Zoom, Reddit, Robinhood, Asana use or have used its AI interviewer. Apparently, the AI interviews like you do. Well, whenever I've interviewed candidates, I've always treated them with kindness and respect. I've always done my best to try to make them feel comfortable. However well they perform in the interview, I try to build a relationship and give positive feedback. I hope that when the interview is over, they walk away with a positive view of the organisation. How many people leave an AI interview with a positive view of a company? They don't respect you enough to spend any of their time meeting and getting to know you. It's not just AI making the interview process miserable. Candidates often find themselves being asked to do bizarre interview tasks these days. In this Guardian article, a number of young people talked about the bizarre and sometimes demeaning tasks they were asked to do for the chance at a minimum wage job. One person talked about being invited to a 2-hour-long group interview. 2 hours just to be there. She'd already put together an application that needed 10 paragraphs of examples that showcased her work experience. At the interview, as part of a team competing against other teams, she needed to solve anagrams, answer quiz questions, rank the importance of kitchen items before the final challenge, build the best possible tower out of dried spaghetti and marshmallows. As someone who is notoriously bad with their hands, I do not have a deft hand for DIY. If I needed to build a tower out of dried spaghetti and marshmallows, I'm going to have a bad time. Not again! Why does this keep happening? So she went through all of that mucking about for about 2 hours, to not get a job. The job she interviewed for was at a fast food place that served mostly chicken, wings, that kind of thing. I better stop. Other young people talked about having to design a dress on an iPad for Lady Gaga. Another was asked to tidy a section of a big department store. So, is this what it's come to for young people? You want to get a minimum wage job and you get messed about with dozens of other people to not get hired? If you don't get chosen, what does that do to your confidence? Especially if you're young and you don't have a lot of life experience behind you. How are you supposed to improve? Guess I better practice my spaghetti tower building skills. 20 years ago, when I was looking for an entry-level job, I didn't have to do any of this. My temporary Christmas job in retail, I did need to be part of a role play with a group of people, but all of us were hired. The group interview felt like a box-ticking exercise, just something to check that none of us was a psychopath or an alcoholic. To be fair, the whole job market felt completely different. If you wanted work, you got work. Now it feels like a race to the bottom.
Now, our operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion. So which of you fine gentlemen would like to join our team? Oh, there's only one spot open right now, so we're gonna have tryouts. Make it fast.
How many years away do you think we are from this? And now we move on to personality tests. For a while now, personality tests have been used by large companies. Often candidates that they shortlist will be invited to complete a personality test. If your answers match whatever arbitrary traits they're looking for, you'll be invited to interview. If they don't, maybe you're too shy, maybe you follow the rules just a little too closely, they won't progress your application.
I talked to one woman who's a working mother in school, and she was up until 2 a.m. answering hundreds of these questions for a test.
Wow.
I think that's what's so confounding for a lot of people here. Some of these tests can take anywhere from 20 minutes to several hours, asking questions like, I trust data more than my instincts, or I understand why stars twinkle. I mean, what kind of a question is that? How do applicants begin to prepare for an interview like that?
The problem is that they really can't. There's no transparency about what it is exactly that the employers are looking for.
This clip is from a CBS show that aired 11 years ago. Can you imagine wasting hours and hours of your time answering questions like, I understand why stars twinkle? Personality tests have become even more widespread since then. Then there are personality questions that are related to specific scenarios you might find yourself in at work. I personally find these questions infuriating. You notice a customer waiting, but a fire is broken out. Do you A, serve the customer, B, pull the fire alarm, C, try to put out the fire, D, call for help? I don't know. All of them? How did I notice the fire? Did I start the fire by mistake? Has my older colleague John had enough and tried to burn the place down? How far away is the fire alarm? Who is the customer? Is it an old lady? Is it Boris Johnson? Am I able to shove him into the fire? Not enough information provided. Instructions unclear. Oh, you don't want to progress my application any further? What did I say? Seriously, this kind of question is pointless. Most organisations now will make you take fire safety training specific to your role every year. So unless they've shared their fire safety information with you before the interview, are you supposed to guess what the organisation's policy is? Depending on the exact circumstances, you could make a case that any of the answers is correct. And that's why I hate being asked this kind of question. Unless you're actually in the scenario, it's very hard to know what kind of answer the company is looking for. This article, in the big issue, says that personality tests unfairly block autistic people from jobs with big companies. Both Morrison's and John Lewis are called out. I completely agree. Anyway, there isn't supposed to be one correct personality. In fact, don't the best teams have a mix of different personalities? Imagine a whole office full of massive extroverts. It'd be mayhem. I love The Big Issue, by the way. If you want 100% of the money you give to help someone, buy The Big Issue. Also, isn't it nice to read something on paper for once? A further complication is that mainstream personality tests often don't have a lot of efficacy. The Myers-Briggs test, for example, has been around since the 1940s and has very little credibility among psychologists. One researcher found that about half the people that take the test get different results the second time they take it. Oh, my MBT result says I'm INFP. I'm like Keanu Reeves, Tim Burton, Kurt Cobain, hell yeah. So for many, that's the state of interviewing for a job in 2026. Dystopian, disrespectful, dehumanizing. What do we do? If you have a job, you apply for another, and it's got an AI interview, feel free to walk away. 30% of candidates already do. You can afford to pass this opportunity up. If you don't have a job though, unfortunately you don't have that luxury. You have bills to pay. You need to eat. You need to stop draining your savings and get back to putting money away from the future. In his book, Enshittification, Cory Doctorow talks about technologies being used first on the poorest and most vulnerable in society. He calls this the shitty technology adoption curve. This is that curve in action. Fight back with AI. You can try to level the playing field somewhat. Okay, you're going to give me an AI interview? Well, I'm going to prepare by using ChatGPT to create some good examples. A couple of tweaks here and there, and I can read them back to the AI interviewer. No problem. Oh, you want 10 supporting statements from me? Again, AI. I'll probably need to rewrite them a bit, but at least I can save myself some time. Keep yourself informed. If you find out a company is conducting AI interviews, don't be that customer. Well, if that's realistic. Oh, Netflix uses AI interviews? But my wife loves Korean shows like this. She likes the drama. All the Korean drama. Reddit uses AI interviews? Well, I can boycott Reddit because all social media sites are basically evil. But if you must use social media, spread the word. Had a really ridiculous AI interview? Get that nonsense on TikTok or Reddit. Or that cesspit place that Elon Musk owns. Start your own YouTube. If I can do it, an adult that's hopeless with technology and has zero editing ability, you can do it as well. Spread the word. What else can you do? Hold the line. AI is an incredibly expensive technology, which is not generating much of a financial return for anyone. When companies see that it isn't paying off, they will give up trying to make AI work for their business. Maybe the Pope is wrong. Maybe this isn't the Industrial Revolution all over again. Maybe this is just another passing trend, like big data. Hold the line. This too shall pass. If you're still watching, thank you. If you like this video, I'll think you like my next video on your screen now, because those who like Apple also like banana. Take care, everyone.